for so long. Book 2. Of Letters on Intimacy by E.J.B. For love. Written for love. For love, 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 love. For love. For so long. I ever so lovingly listened to the rain fall outside my window this morning. Every minute passing by felt to me like a crisp early morning minute, like a 5 a.m. moment. When I finally stepped out of bed, it was 9:48 a.m. My typical morning encounter, as has been for over the past decade, is a barrage of criticism, a sudden onset of negativity streaming forth unto my mentality, into my state of being. It has been a truly agonizing way to begin each new day. So today, spending the morning listening to the loving and comforting sound of rain, rather than internalized harassment of self-demeaning talk, was truly a treat, sincere. It has been difficult to pinpoint when it all began. Over the years, I have learned to address it with a form of practice in personal compassion. When I come to realize negativity bombarding my psyche, I consciously challenge those thoughts and choose to love myself. There are times, though, when the negative thoughts persist, leaving me clasped to an ideology where I'd rather not exist. One day 2 weeks ago now, after having fallen into a daytime slumber, a nap, while I rested, a dream came to me of a faraway place from my distant past. I was 19 years of age, a new recruit, learning how to soldier for our beloved country. I was sleeping also in my dream. It was 3:58 a.m. It was quiet, when all of a sudden the hands of the clock touched 4 a.m. and a drill sergeant, impelled by a paycheck maybe, came into the quiet, into the dreaming, with lungs transfixed into pure screaming of profanities, obscenities, of harsh, cruel, and meanness of words. Come on, man. Oops, you okay? Come on in. Get cozy. This abrupt awakening became quickly normalized as the expected manner in which we would begin our days. Every day, serving in the U.S. military's army. In my dream, the 4 a.m. scene was recorded and played on repeat. 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 The symbolized repetition accompanied by a stream of light which flowed steadfastly into my future, threading each and every present day to my past, showed unto me the living significance of sequential events from our past. My present day pattern of morning barrage barricaded the path to myself, nourishing and knowing my true self, accepting myself, and trusting wholly in myself. Those several weeks of training, mixed with the trauma of normalized oppression, really made an impression. The training intended to make us strong, though either by accident or sincere intent, it in fact weakened the psyche, weakened the malleable mind. And now we know that trauma informed by trauma is traumatizing. That training informed by trauma is traumatizing. My rude awakenings persisted even alongside my daily practice of self-compassion. Though that day, what was revealed to me in my dream married my 6-year ongoing practice of self-compassion and strengthened my awareness of self and of self-trust in my yearning passion and my purpose in my days. And now, I allow inspiration of thought to trickle like fresh, clear water. Like fresh, clean water into my morning awareness, rather than cruelty of demeaning and weakening words. Sound understanding and awareness of the impacts which abuse from our past has on our present, alongside an honest intent and dedication towards healing, will create the change within the self which will home the occurrence of healing. holistic healing changes every aspect of our lives, including how we interact with ourselves and with others. Our ongoing thoughts and beliefs and behaviors shape our world, have shape in our world. The year is 2021, and the coronavirus is sculpting our has been sculpting our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors, our world, like a master craftswoman. It has, in one fell swoop, rearranged and changed the ongoings of our daily lives. For many, it has slowed things down and has created time away from a form of work which has consumed them. Their very thoughts, their energy, each waking hour, and perhaps their resting hours. Many have had the occasion of reuniting with their homes and their families. Many have had the occasion of reuniting with their homes and their families, and have learned once again how to connect with loved ones. Many daily habits have been altered and broken. Many anew have been formed. Together we, everywhere, as a world society, are standing at the brink of change. The change has started within and is about to change the course of history. I, a fledgling poet, since the day I was born, kept shyness as my personal plague, a plague which kept me quiet, scared, and uninformed of my talented and true, authentic, higher, loving, and confident self. Today I look out unto the world and I see many poets, creators, makers, and leaders of whom have buried themselves somewhere deep down in the infernal waste of human dreams, goals, ambitions, pursuits, passions, and ultimate potential, and carry with them a shield to protect themselves from ridicule and bereavement, from the gnashing of teeth and judgments of others, who are too frightened themselves to go within and to then come forth, revealing their true colors, their true hue, their true selves to the world. We have all ironically learned to don masks which hide the depths of who we are from one another, and have taken personas and roles of that which is expected of us from our society as gendered beings. Today we wear a physical mask over our nose, cheeks, and mouths, our platform of expression, so to keep one another safe from a lurking virus which we all may be susceptible to and carriers of. This mask, much like the mask which we figuratively don, protects us from others. I do believe that when the day comes in which we feel it appropriate to take off our masks, we will simultaneously take off our cultural mask. It will be in this day where we all together, hand in hand, with a new appreciation for each other's well-being on the planet Earth, with eyes which recognize all of our self-worth, when we strip ourselves of the masks which we have worn for so long, and we show in our dignity, courage, honor, and loving reverence and confidence who it is we have been hiding And we will remember self to self, a true commonwealth, a virtue, a kindness, a freedom, an honest for one another and self. Superdog. 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 Ba 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 ba, Superdog. This morning, whilst lying in my bed, my dog came to me and curled up. We curled up and cuddled together. I counted it as my communion with the divine. I'm working on my relationships with the living divine in all things, the God in me, the God in you, the God in my dog, the God in my shoe, the God in every living thing that is true. The dog in me, the dog in you, the dog in shoe, the dog in every living thing that's true. Oh God, dog God. Letting go of control freak tendencies. It's easy to believe that you are never going to amount to your full potential, that there is no use in writing that book or starting that business. Your book, your business. Just keep the same job you've had always, the one you mentally label as mediocre, mindless. You fulfill the status quo. You are normal enough, so your life is mundane, ordinary. You are getting by just fine. It is also easy to believe in your talents and passions and to trust in the universe, which is aligning every single item, interaction, and person you need in order to grow into and accomplish your dreams. Yes, with others. Those little hunches you get, accomplish your dreams. Yes. Those little hunches you get, you can believe they are hunches from your angels, the divine, your highest, higher self, goddess. You can begin to follow your goddess gut instincts. We do have a still small voice which expresses itself, herself, to us, inside of us, which is us. Many of us also are surrounded with loud, constantly buzzing sounds, the rush of traffic, the blustery television, commercials, billboards, Facebook, gossip, Pandora, the radio, our thoughts. Many of these sounds drown the still small voice inside of our body. Meditate. This is what meditation is for. Why we do it. To learn to recognize the stillness inside ourselves and the stir, the true authentic stir, the vibrations of our inner voice, where you learn to listen and pray and pay attention, you will come to find that voice is telling you precisely what you are to do. It will incite which is truly inside of you now. What your passions are painted with, what your dreams hold. We have all been taught so much, and so much of what we have learned is to doubt. Doubt ourselves, doubt each other, doubt our talents, doubt our impulses, doubt our wildest. Doubt our wildest, happiest dreams. And one of the coolest, raddest, strangest, ironicest things in the world is that we do not have to believe all that which we have been taught. We do not even have to believe that which we are inclined to think. And if something inside is feeling like your perfect your perfect life is starting to suffocate you, you can change or rearrange whatever you like. You can leave, get rid of, recycle, and upcycle everything in your life that isn't serving you now. That's right. If it does not feel like you, leave it. Let it go. Let it all go and begin to fill yourself up with things and ideas and actions and people that matter, that make you feel like the undeniable you who has been there all along. I am writing this, dear friend, lover, sister, Mr. Mother. I'm writing this because I have been there. I know both sides. And throughout the whole of my life, I have become more acquainted with the side of doubt. I have reasoned with doubt for far too long. I am like an addict whose drug of choice is doubt. These are my truths after having gone through Doubters Anonymous. I am letting it go, giving it up, giving it to God, the God in me and the God in you. I have changed my friend group, and I am staying out of establishments which serve doubt. And for what seems like the first time in my life, I am learning to pray to my angels, to divine spirit, to Goddess, the fertile Goddess of truth, beauty, compassion, love. Of divine death, sex, and rebirth. And most of all, I am praying for trust. Trust in my divinity. Trust in my passions. Trust in my dreams. Trust in my intuition. And trust in my abilities. Infiniment us. trust, my abilities to trust, my intuition, my dreams, passions, divinity, praying for trust, in my divinity, in my passions, praying for trust in my truest dreams, for trust in my intuition, my trust in my abilities, trust, 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 trust. Your inner wisdom and talents. Inner wisdom and talents. Trust does not sync up with doubt and fear. Where the one is there, the other is not. They are of different frequencies and vibrations. They feel very different in the body. Doubt feels like you cannot move, cannot breathe. Trust feels like supreme joy. Trust allows free movement, skip, dance, run, make decisions, create, participate. Trust is like rainbows, roses, sunshine. Doubt is like living on top of a landfill. And here is the poignant truth. How we have been taught to participate in this world leaves us with landfill upon landfill upon landfill and garbage just overflowing the rivers. And oftentimes when we find ourselves, our guts, with an inkling, an impulse to reject one or more aspects of the status quo lifestyle, which produces waste, way more landfills, we doubt. We doubt ourselves, our feeling, our very insides, our guts, our heart. We doubt because the popular culture makes it inconvenient to listen to and follow our hearts, our guts, our impulses. We conjure up in our minds reason to somehow do the very opposite from the way we feel inside. Conjuring up a reason to go against your very truth, your guts, your heart, your divine self, who is always connected to and more with the divine, is dark magic. Is dark magic. Dark magic, dark magic. Submerge yourself into the crystal ball and see all the many tools used against the human race, which keep us from making honest decisions. In the Doubters Anonymous class, I was asking to pay attention to how my body feels in given situations around certain people in specific establishments. And as I began to do this, quite quickly, I began to recognize that my body is always communicating with me, and my body tells the truth. And so does yours. Unlike a lot of other sounds, sights, and streams of information from our external world, where much is transmitted in messages subliminally to us, that which we are exposed to by popular culture and media significantly manipulates and confuses the masses, and is the reason why we have all been guilty in an instance or two of behaving like asses. Much of what we believe about ourselves, the world, and others is literally programmed into our human psyche, our computer, our consciousness, by news, media, television programs, commercial programs, popular magazines, porn, and ads. We are given messages every day telling us what we are, what we can become, what to wear, what to buy, what to think, when all the while within the senses of the body is the truth of who we are. This is where we meet trust. Trusting our body. Trusting our God in our body, trusting our senses, trusting our intuition, trusting our divine calling and purpose here. Through trust, we learn of a deeper and ever-abiding love, a love which cannot be revealed, cannot be without trust, cannot be learned without trust. I am learning that the most dreaded life, the one which we fear the very most, is the one where we don't love, don't call, don't reach out, reach forth, don't show up and give it our all. Friends, I ask that you heed what it is that your very insides are telling you, and tarry not. The year is 2021. We have a lot of work to do. And we need every single one of us. Love is the answer. Love is the way. Love is the truth. Love is the light. Love is the key, the only key to freedom. Let freedom sing. Accessibility. Everyone has access to today. If you are oppressed, living within a system of oppression, stop living within that system. Stop abiding by a status quo of domination and control. Choose love. Get to know each other and yourself. Make friends and beloveds only. Where others say hate, say love. Where there is harm, run to it and help it heal. All joy is shared. If you have not found joy, turn towards the other. Togetherness is our destiny. We together make up the people, the power. Now each of us may flower and summon the world which was always intended to be, that which is of kindness, tenderness, freedom, and love. Our sensations, our skins, our eyes, ears of nations are now finally and forever open to the truth, the sanctity, and the dignity of life, where we are surrounded with all that which matters, just as we ourselves matter, and so we recognize that love really is the ladder from where we have been living to a higher world of miraculous matter, where all lies sacredly in each other. Each other, each other, each other. Who benefits from sexualized oppression? Oppression. Oppression. Who benefits from sexualized oppression? Who benefits who? Not long ago, I sat to write this chapter at a picnic table at a park, where I was going through my poems and organizing my things, and as I opened the blank pages to this chapter, who benefits from sexualized oppression. Ready with my pencil, I heard from over the loud sounds made from the noisy streets across the way the screams from a juvenile youth who was in danger, who was in harm. I sat stunned with pencil in hand, question in mind. Is this surely an earnest cry for help? While in wait, in question, I heard once again the sound of horror, and it became clear as an urgent cry for help. I quickly and neatly packed away my papers to keep them safe from the mighty breeze and prepared my foot for journey. I took across the way from whence I heard the scream, linked to the lungs of a precious ones, full of fear, full of struggling for life, and asking some neighbors there about it if they had heard the like. And one did. She said the children playing right there across the street. I said, I too have heard the children playing, though another voice above them all I heard, replete of sound which came forth from one whose lungs and body needed nothing more than to get word out for help. I searched the block with ears set to listen to any pain, struggle, or hardship. I saw a yellow painted rake standing up against the post at the entrance of a porch underneath an awning. The teeth were pointing upwards and outwards. Seeing it as possible danger, I turned towards the steps of the porch and instantly saw a woman sitting beyond the trellis, interwoven of green and brown climbing vines and leaves. She invited me up to cool in the misty shade which she provided on this hot day, and I agreed. With acceptance of her invitation, and continued on my mission to turn over the rake. She thanked me, and I thanked her, and we blessed each other on our merry way. Finally, I found the house from which the playing children were screaming. I tried to connect with the children to ask if they themselves had heard a scream much louder than their own. Though none of them could hear me, they didn't even know I was there, for there was betwixt the children and me an 11-foot tall adobe earth wall. That's earth wall. So I went around the corner to find a portal for the courtyard. I rang a bell and waited for another to open the gate. One came, a young gentleman whom I asked if he had heard a forceful and desperate cry much louder than his children's, to which he said, No, it is only these children crying loudly, and look, they are playing and laughing. Everyone is all right here. Promise. We thanked and bid the other adieu, and I returned to my green desk at the park and began to write this story on sexualized oppression, on oppression, on oppression. This will be, I feel, one of the most difficult topics to talk of in writing and in speech. No one even knows in totality what oppression is, and no one knows that it is spelled out in demeanor and demonstrated by others right before them. It's everywhere, and it feels like wanting to sing and dance, though can't because of subscription of social rules which say don't. That is the essence, the feeling of oppression. And if you look around you and observe long enough with discernment, you will learn to recognize what that feeling looks like and sounds like. And soon enough, you'll see it around you in the world you live several times a day. You'll recognize that feeling which arises from deep within you, a you which you suppress where in the presence of others for fear that they will simply not understand you. You hide, you stay inside, you stay quiet, you put away your trumpet, you put away your voice, somehow abiding by your very own choice. You say don't to yourself, you say can't, won't, ever. And so you choose a different font, route, whatever, one of doubt, that which denies the God within me and the God within you. I don't know how it happens, if it all happens slow or fast. One day it all shakes you in a tremble, taken the shape of fear, quite so ever near the heart, threatening a heart attack on the very living. I am certain when every human being turns toward their divine calling and serves the God, the communities among them, we will in spontaneity turn towards world peace. For real, or like I used to say in grade school, for the reals, faux reals, for reals. And all beings begin to bless all beings in passing and in courting, in parting and in residing with one another. To breathe deeply, clearly, freely, unencumbered is characteristic of the empowered. To be stifled or choked is to be oppressed. George Floyd quite literally died from oppression, with a knee on his neck, though before the knee was the atmosphere of choking oppression, of fear of being black when a cop is near, fear of not finding suitable work because of unspoken prejudices, fear of failing health because of an environment which lacks trees and living diversity, oxygen. Within our bodies is chi energy, which flows through every molecule of our bodies. Chi is like the wind and the river of the soul within an embodied place. Our thoughts, our diets, our relationships, the water we drink, and the air we breathe, our beliefs, our environment, all affect the flow of our soul chi energy within our body. A yogi who stretches in their body 2 or 3 times a day is aware of this chi, their chi. In order to assist the flow, they mindfully stretch to make ample room within for optimal flow. An environment of optimal flow within an embodied being is one of empowerment, clarity, and centeredness. From this state, one may confront oppression rather than take it on. When one begins to cultivate an awareness of oppression within daily existence and are able to consciously observe it in their neighborhoods, stores, facilities, factories, and families, one may begin to recognize the shape and effect oppression has within their own bodies, their own body, and daily experiences of the world. Oppression is living fear. When we learn to recognize oppression, we can come to see how it is we oppress others whom we love simply by fearing for them. We have been raised by a culture of fear. Fear of each other, fear of ourselves, fear of our fathers, fear for our children, fear of scarcity, fear of brute police, brutality, fear of spouse, brutality, fear of men, and fear of vulnerability, fear of connection, fear of love, fear of belonging. Our United States has never been united. Divided we stand and have always stood. From the very beginning, land was taken and people enslaved, stimulating an economy where wilderness is gone and the pathways forward become forever paved. We, the people of the United States, are segregated by sex, by gender, by age, by work, by class, by race. Segregation, by its very nature to separate, permits fear of the unknown, fear of the other. Naturally, I believe everyone among us has encountered the moment wherewith fear had become dispelled when we accepted the opportunity to get to know another. Dispelled, as in dispersed. Poof. Wherewith fear had become dispelled, dispersed, poofed into thin air, when we accepted the opportunity to get to know another, to get closer. It is, in fact, true nature that when we come close, fear dissipates and love grows forth. It is again our divine nature and purpose and destiny to be close, to belong, to relate to the other, to encourage and support one another, to love. Erasing oppression. The child's voice I heard screaming from the top of lungs was a girl's voice whom was screaming the word don't. Later on throughout the course of that same afternoon, I was able to pick up on similar expressions from young girls playing with boys. I heard verbatim, same words, same cries, same energy, same following laughter, don't, all from different parts of the neighborhood. As an observer and examiner of our social conditions, of course, I had to then contemplate and question the significance of the reoccurrence of such patterned roles in children's play, where for whatever reasons the girl in play often is found screaming "don't" at the top of her lungs. What I have witnessed observing children on the playground as a grade school teacher, is that the girl is sometimes driven in play even to the point of terror. And when the scenario plays out as such, it is typical for the girl to be then chided for egging on the boys, chided and chastised for egging on the boys, to pester her in whatever way. I do know from the experience of being a woman and knowing women that there is irony in such behavior in play, for it mirrors non-play scenes among women and men where power, control, domination, and rape are at play. All too often it is the woman who is chastised, criticized, and chided for egging on a man and invoking the perpetrator within him. Sadly, that this scenario has become so commonplace in our world that we come to even expect such a routine, which expresses an even larger problem: our cultural acceptance for men to become victimizers and for women to become victims. This observation of social systems underlines the notion of a rape culture and becomes evidence of such programming, the programming of men to rape and of women to be raped. This programming is largely perpetuated by the type of filmed sex which comes forth out of pornography, where the woman's body is distorted, controlled, and fucked by someone who deems ownership over her body. Women who view porn, who go to porn for ideas of sex and desires for sexual liberation, learn to conform and to follow rules of restraint and restriction, which contort them into fuckable beings, objects, inferior to human beings. When one contorts themselves into fuckable fantasies, they lose their edge, their groundedness, their faith and trust in the self, and therefore their authentic expression of their self, their voice. When one sexualizes their very own oppression, their voice, their chi, their purpose of being is blocked. The same goes for men who sexualize control and taking from others. What men learn from sex, what men learn from porn is to dominate, restrain, and to fuck, to perform, exuding external power and control in their sex and view, sexualize themselves as force of being. Sexualizing the self as force of being also blocks the authentic voice, the chi, and the purpose of self, of life, ambition. Sexualized oppression of self and of others oppresses the intrinsic nature of being, love. Sex demonstrated within pornography is sex within constraint, sex without mutual personal authority, and sex without love. So many of us turn around on the path towards personal dreams and visions due to the storm which is coming, the one that's on the horizon of our minds if we were to fail, and choose instead the path of predictability, even if what's predictable is perseverance in a passionless existence. It's 2021, and a grand majority of the jobs which we punch in and out of every day are indeed creating waste and chaos on planet Earth, within every ecosystem, including our social ecosystem. Now is the time to know that everything we do is sacred. So examine the work which you participate in each day. Observe how it makes you feel. Observe and witness how it benefits the communities of the world, social and ecological. How does it contribute to the waters? Does it bring you joy and uplift your spirit and the spirits of those around you? After deep consideration and question, decide if this line of work is indeed your calling and destiny, bringing us towards a humanity of healing, of vision, of love. Stop serving it. Discover what it is you came here to do and use your power for good. Our entire world as we know it must change. Brother, sister, madre, padre, everything about it, our economy, has been fully functioning under conditions and contracts of pure evil for so long, with terms which literally deem earth life and human life valuable conditionally, wherein, if and only if, they cover up and conceal themselves from the world forever. So to be visualized as mere tools, machines, men, a means to the selling of a product, the making of a profit, and the visualizing of one's own life by the gathering of another's profit, disvalues the living, breathing, creative force which is you. Women are that they may have joy, and women is inclusive, for within it is men also, and is from where we all come from, woman. Even the physical, biological, and chromosomal beginnings of the expression of man is woman. All bodies begin as woman and are born of women. Woman is the sacred divine, which encompasses all living within time. Ironically, women are of lesser worth than men in every social system on every continent of human civilization. The female deity has been left out of every mainstream religion ideology among us. I wonder how we collectively would recognize and value all life within human societies wherein which we remembered the divine feminine within all living things. And by golly, the celebration of such would not take our praise from the masculine, for he is within she. If we looked upon the earth as the divine woman, then we would take only what we need to provide for our living communities, and we would make certain that none would go to waste. Today, in a world which worships the masculine in man and nothing else, the world and its inhabitants are only seen as valuable so as far as they may be accessed and made into profit for man. And our world aches, and every inhabitant therein aches, and has difficulty breathing in this world which we have made under the terms and conditions of man. Domination and control of the living, growing, breathing being. It is of this world view and reality from which we must rid ourselves of. From which we must rid ourselves. From which we must rid ourselves of. From which we must rid ourselves. From where we must walk away from. We are right now transitioning from our genders, which belong to a world of oppression, to our true genders of authentic self, which belong to a world of reverence, in divine expression of her, our mother, our mother. All beings come from her. All beings belong here. All life matters here. We see now that when we conform to social rules and expectations, wherein one form of life matters more than any other, we squander love, energy, creativity, unity, relationships, and money. Therefore, it is timing to unconform to conditions of domination and contort and control, and to meet each other on terms of acceptance, honor, unity, and love, creatively on the plane of all possibilities, where love, justice, beauty, and truth are revered and honored. It is here we learn of mutuality, of respect, honor, accountability, and responsibility for ourselves and each other, from where we build a world co-creatively, procreatively, all of us together, every voice, every hand, lovingly touching and healing one another and the land, where each life and voice matters, where we stand lovingly and courageously on the ground, centered in joy, lifting every voice to sing. Losing religion and finding religion. 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 Noun. belief in gods or in one God, system of worship, living within the confines of systems birthed of and functioning in oppression of the human mind, the masses. Religion.